coming to you live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cowboy Zone. This is Marcus coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo, who forgot to unmute my thing, from Johnson City, Tennessee, from Cowboys, y'all. What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, guys, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate your support. Let's continue to get people in here and make sure you share it. Man, rough week.
What a disappointment. I don't know if I'm even over it yet, honestly. It usually takes me about a week. So it's probably going to take me till this weekend to completely feel over it.
For some reason, I didn't take this one this hard. I don't know why, especially considering I expected us to score 44 points.
Well, yeah, you should have been the one that took it hard because I was almost spot on, man. Like, remember, I said we was going to win 24-20.
Yep.
And had we scored a touchdown, had that pass interference not happen, that would have been the drive that gave us 24-20. I was sitting there watching it play out. I was like, it's going to happen.
Yep.
And then you get to Ramsey hooking Gallup's arm and Gallup pulling the LeBron. And next thing you know, it's all down the drain, man. Hey, Samal, thanks for tuning in. Hey, Leo, thanks for tuning in. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Elazar?
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. We appreciate it. We got a good show tonight. I know you guys have probably heard different things about the game from every aspect. We're gonna try to make things as different as we can because I know you guys are probably sick of talking about it and probably just discussed it from the game in general. But we got to move forward. We got to look ahead. But before we do, we're gonna do a brief recap of what we saw this past Sunday. And Lambo just brought up about the bogus pass interference call. And let me say this. I just said it before. That was a BS call.
It was.
But you have to put it in perspective. This is the Hard Knocks team. They just opened up a $4 billion stadium. Jalen Ramsey is the highest paid corner in the league. Jalen Ramsey is the loudest corner in the league. He's going to get that call 10 times out of 10 in that situation just because the league has too much riding on that game.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say that, that's just the reality of life. When you're in that situation, the call is going to go towards the person that they want to win that game. And we were behind the 8-ball in that game on several bad calls.
Yeah. Well, the thing that really bums me out about it is earlier in the game, in the second quarter, Cooper Kupp was lined up with Chidobe Awuzie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a key third down, and they did a pick, an illegal pick.
Yep.
And it was so obvious, and it was not called. That gave them a first down. Their drive get to keep going. They get points. But you're going to call that BS when the game's like in a very key moment where like it could judge the game, and they're going to call that like is, oh man. And then the delay of game, we can talk about the delay of game. That was, it's one thing if it's 1 second, but it hit about 2 seconds before he actually.
At least.
Yeah. So, unbiased sources was even like, wow. And sometimes teams that's too good of a team really to just sometimes you can't overcome all that stuff, man. It's a tough thing to do with a good team like that.
Yeah, you can't let the refs decide a game, and that's exactly what we let. Let's talk about a couple of things from the game. We won't go too much into it because we want to move forward with the Falcons. Sorry. So first of all, let's talk about what I think was a positive. Let's talk about our rookies.
Okay.
What do you think about the performance of CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, and the unexpected starter Terrence Steele? What do you think about how they did? Let's just go through them one by one.
Well, Diggs started off hot on that big reception. I think it was like 30-something yards or something like that. That was majority of his yards was on that one reception.
You mean Lamb?
Or Lamb, yeah. I mean, I can't really say anything too bad about him other than the rookie mistake he had. I'll get to that. But I mean, he had 5 catches. That was the most among all rookie wide receivers in week 1. So I mean, it's his first game. 5 catches is solid for a rookie coming out there being the third option.
I think that's the record for the Cowboys. Most catches in a game by a rookie for the first game.
And another positive, he didn't drop a pass. So
Exactly.
five targets, 5 catches. I mean, I can't really ask for much more. When the game's on the line on a 4th and 3, maybe they should have chose a veteran to throw it to. Because
me and Jeff just had that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go to the sticks and go up. I mean, he cut it 2 yards short, man, and you can't do that. It's a rookie mistake. Mm-hmm. And like you said, you already got people out there trying to say, "Oh, Dak shouldn't have thrown it to him. He was 2 yards short." Like that in Dak's mind, the receiver's got to know where the line's at.
Exactly. He was wide open. You got to throw it to a wide open receiver.
Yeah, it was Lamb's job to be in the right spot. I mean, you're in a pocket behind a bunch of 6'5" dudes, 300 pounds, somebody breathing on your face.
Preach.
You expect him to be at the line he's supposed to be at. You can't. Let me just sit here for 5 seconds and count these dashes real quick.
Exactly.
Okay. No, that's not how it works.
Exactly. We got playmakers for a reason. Their job is to make plays.
Yeah.
He got open. He just didn't find the sticks like he was supposed to. Again, that should have been a $20 million man situation. You put Cooper in the slot, let him do what he does best. The play was going to be the play either way, but I'd rather have my veteran doing it than Lamb. And I don't want to beat up Lamb because that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
He did get open. He did make the catch. Mm-hmm. It was a key point in the game, but there was a lot more good than I saw than bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let's talk about Trayvon Diggs on the defensive side before we go to the third guy. Before we go, Sharon, Terry, thank you for joining us, ladies. Rosie, thank you for joining. Levi Schuster, I don't recognize the name, so we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for rocking with us tonight. And like Jeff just said, they should have let Coop run their route. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that, Lambo.
That is almost concerning in a way because we seen what happened last year when it was a key moment. Cooper wasn't even on the field. I'm like, I just don't understand what is going on sometimes.
That's a really good point I didn't even think about. Like, Cooper's not the guy in crucial situations.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I mean, we've seen it last year, and now we're seeing it in the first week of the season.
Exactly.
It's concerning a little bit. Trayvon Diggs, for being a rookie in his first game at an extremely tough position like cornerback, did fairly well, in my opinion. He wasn't locked down or nothing like that. He was this close to having a pick in his first game. He should have had a pick. He was really close. So I can't really knock Diggs too much. I feel like he did fairly well.
You know what? I'm going to say he was locked down because outside, those were perfect passes, first of all.
Yeah, the one to was it Robert Woods
that was
who was it? Van Jefferson. It was Van.
Josh Reynolds was the deep throw. That was the deep.
Okay, I was thinking Jefferson for some reason. I just know that he had.
No, you're right. It was Jefferson. You're right.
Look, it was perfect. I can't. Right. I remember that now. I remember the first thing I said, like while I was watching the game, I was just like, man, I was like, I actually got to give Diggs credit for how tight that coverage was. I mean, he couldn't have been any tighter without pass interference being called.
If that ball was 6 inches shorter, that was going the other way. That's how perfect this coverage was.
Yeah, and he got his hit around too.
He got everything. His hands were in position. If that ball did not go 6 inches over his hands, it was pick.
It was the difference about this to this. Exactly. And the ball was right there. Like, yes, I mean.
And then you go to that second catch where it was a comeback route and Diggs tried to go for the pick, but the ball just got there a split second before he did, and the guy caught it and turned up the field. Another situation.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident about him, man.
And outside of those two plays, you didn't hear a peep about the guy he was covering,
which is a good thing. Yeah,
exactly. And if you go back and look, there was one play where Alden Smith tipped the ball up and it almost got picked. Mm-hmm. If that ball wouldn't have got tipped, Diggs would have had that interception because he was in position. And when the ball got tipped, he stopped and had to try to recover and go forward and try to reach out for it. but I watched that play about 6 times. If it wasn't tipped, Diggs would have had his first interception right there. So I saw a lot of good with him.
Yeah.
And he got a test this week that we'll talk about.
Yeah, we got plenty to be excited about, and with Diggs, and then we also get to look forward to Jordan Lewis getting on the field.
Yes, and we'll definitely talk about that too once we talk about the Falcons.
What's up, Tony?
All right, hey Tony, what's up? Appreciate you joining us. I know you just did a show for an hour and a half, so we thank you for coming in and rocking with us for an hour. All right, let's talk about Terrence Steele, because there's been some conflicting talks about how he performed. You took the first two. I'll talk about this one.
Yeah.
Terrence Steele was an undrafted free agent. Hadn't put on pads since December.
Right.
No training camp, no workouts, no preseason. He came into that game and he gave up 1 sack. Now, we've seen in the past that can go the other way quickly with a tackle.
Yeah, Chaz Green.
Exactly. For that guy to come in a game like this and only give up 1 sack and I think 4 hurries, I think that's a positive.
It is. Like, he did. I mean, there was times where he struggled, and Dak got some heat from that side a little bit. But like you said, I wasn't really expecting him to come in there playing like an all-pro. What I was expecting was him to come in there and give up 3 sacks to him on his own. So the fact that that didn't happen makes me feel a little bit better about the fact that, well, I don't feel too good about the fact that his backup is now out.
Yeah.
Cameron Fleming. Well, so
I don't feel too good that his backup was not the starter. That concerns me.
That is concerning. That is really concerning. And, maybe tell me, is this a crazy idea? All right, so we've talked about the possibility of why isn't Connor Williams at least getting a chance at right tackle? He played tackle in college.
Yep.
Fairly well. And I feel like he would be a better tackle. Like, he kind of got pushed around a lot. So he wasn't good. I believe he graded I thought I had it in front of me. I think Connor Williams was the 60th ranked 60th ranked guard out of 66.
Out of 66, yeah.
So damn near at the very end. So that's not good. So I mean, I feel like he would be a better tackle. I mean, I don't understand why he doesn't get a chance at right tackle. Is it because they just don't feel that's the position for him? Or is that saying something about Connor McGovern? Is that saying that he's not who they thought they were, that they don't think he can be our left guard?
Again, that's another concerning issue that we don't have an answer for. And what was more concerned about that, Connor McGovern was inactive. McGovern was inactive that game.
Yeah, even more concerning. So I'm sitting here excited about the guy entering the year, thinking he might have a shot at winning a job, and he's not even active.
Right.
So it's no wonder they won't push Connor Williams to right tackle if they feel that badly about Connor McGovern.
And then they let the other rookie who hasn't had an off season be the backup. I don't get that. That's concerning to me.
So that did have another thought. I believe Ronald Leary is still out there.
He is still out there.
I would bring him in at left guard and give Connor Williams a shot at right tackle, honestly. But that's just my own thing right there. Just not something that's going to happen. But that'd be a situation I'd be intrigued with.
Yeah. Lamont Graham, thank you for joining us tonight. You put a question up about the quarterback. Let me say this about the quarterback. Don't concern yourself about that. Every Tuesday, NFL teams work out players. Every Tuesday and Wednesday. That's just a part of the norm. Anybody who wants to get a tryout, if they have a good enough agent, they're going to get a tryout with the team if they live in that area. So don't concern yourself about who that quarterback is, because more than likely you will never hear his name again.
Yeah, definitely. No, I can't think of the word I'm looking for.
He's not a threat to Danucci or Clayton Thorson, if that's what you're trying to say. And that doesn't mean Andy Dalton looked bad in practice. That's just normal everyday workouts.
And it dang sure ain't a threat today.
They brought in a tackle and a linebacker to work out. So they had an open workout. So
Yeah.
if somebody is in the area and wants to come work out, the coaches are already there. So if his agent is a good enough agent, he's going to get that workout just to come throw the ball for 10 minutes. So don't read too much into that one.
And then speaking of quarterbacks, though, Dak, despite getting the normal Dak hate from half the fan base and the rest of the 31 other teams' fan bases, he was the 5th best rated quarterback in the entire NFL when week 1. A lot of people don't realize that. He was definitely not the issue.
Yeah.
Definitely not the issue. Just want to get that out there.
Yeah. Mendoza, I'm sorry. You said Diggs looked good. And right, like you said, still played a good game. I mean, he gave up a couple of hurries. Leonard Floyd is no slouch. He may have been a bust in Chicago, but this is a top 10 pick and very athletic outside linebacker.
Yeah, you're talking about a guy that's Randy Gregory-ish as far as the athlete goes.
Good comparison.
Very bendy, quick, fast, and he's going against an undrafted tackle in his first game in the NFL. Like, you know he was going to beat him a few times.
Yeah, for sure. So now, Lambo, let's move on with this Falcons game. Let's go ahead and knock the negative out first, and tell me who was your most disappointing performance. It could be multiple guys or just one.
Most disappointing performance for us against the Rams?
You want me to go first or you want to go first? You seem like you're thinking about it. Go ahead.
This one I hate to say, okay? So Jalen Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Jalen Smith really disappointed me. We paid him the big bucks. He showed us before that he can play really good, but that wasn't one of the times that he did. And I know he racked up some tackles, but
that's real funny, Tony. He's talking about Randy Gregory. We compare him to Leonard Floyd.
Jalen Smith. Bro, we're getting our linebackers are getting killed in the pass coverage right now.
Yeah.
So Jalen Smith was targeted 7 times. He was targeted 7 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how many? You know what was completed on him out of those 7? 6 receptions for 115 yards.
Ouch!
And a passer rating of 118.8 on Jalen Smith alone. They literally just destroyed him all game long, man.
Yeah.
So not even that, but Pro Football Focus does the ratings and everything. And if I still have it up here, his rating was horrible for that game. I believe it was 29.
Mm-hmm.
29 was his rating.
Yeah.
I seen one source that said that was the 4th worst ranked linebacker, and then another source said the 8th rank. So I don't know which one of those is right, but it's in between the bottom 10 of all linebackers in the NFL. Basically, it was just a horrible game.
It was
horrible game, and he's got to do better this week.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about Jalen. Everybody loves Jalen. He's a marketable figure.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to be realistic here. His lateral movements are very stiff, and he looks like he's scared to plant on that foot. If you go back and watch one play in particular, Tyler Higbee was in the slot, and he faked an out route and cut back in with a slant, and Jalen fell on the ground, and that was like a 15-yard gain.
Yeah, you're talking about a big old tight end. Pretty much shook him. Yeah, I seen that. I was like, I watched the replay a few times and was like, oh my goodness.
So they put Jalen at wheel linebacker for a reason. When LVE got hurt, Jalen had to go back to middle, and his roles changed. We need to find somebody who can play middle linebacker so Jalen does not get put in that situation all year.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, we're going to see it every week if he continues to stay at middle linebacker.
They got to play him to his strengths because he wasn't playing to his strengths in week 1.
Yeah, Tony, you got to stop selling them shades. But that's how he keeps his name out there, and that's why people love him. They don't get clear eye view.
And just to get it out there, like I love Jalen Smith, the person, and I I was very excited about him, and I'm still excited about him. I just hope he can do better and they can play him to his strengths. I mean, 29.5 grade, and you think about it, not even just him, our linebackers, man, in general. Before LVE went down, do you know LVE had missed 40% of his tackles?
Yeah.
So LVE was horrible as well before the injury, so that's concerning.
Yeah.
Almost more than the injury itself, because I'm like, okay, LVE wasn't even looking good when he was healthy. And then Joe Thomas finished as the best rated linebacker on the field for us, and that was only a 58 grade.
Yeah.
So it's not like linebackers turned into one of my biggest concerns now all of a sudden.
Sure. Now, Mendoza makes a good point about the front interior doing better with him will help him. I agree, but that doesn't help you when you're covering a tight end. That's just you not being able to stay with them. But you do bring up a good point, because that leads into my most disappointing performance. Don Terry Poe looked like shit. But I'm sorry.
He did look horrible. I was like, I didn't even think he was out there for a while.
If you guys saw Spoonie on Monday night, I had to tap into my inner Spoonie on that one. I won't go any further than that. Terry Poe is 6'3", 345 pounds. And every play, when the ball snapped, he stood up, put his hands on the guard, and the guy just moved him wherever he wanted to move him to.
It didn't seem like he even wanted to be playing football.
Exactly.
Like he was just here for, I don't know why he was here. He's just here for a quick year, give me my money and I'm out kind of deal. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and Jeff agrees too. And I think Mendoza put up there too, yeah, by Poe. And here's the first thing that concerned me that I saw. On the very first drive, he did not touch the field. Even on the goal line. The goal line defensive tackles were Tyrone Crawford, who's 275, 280 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe I saw Neville Gallimore in there, who's a rookie who was probably getting his first or second snaps in the game. Why do we have this big hog on the sideline and we're on the 2-yard line and he's not at least out there to take up space? They just walked into the end zone.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I know we lost this game and people point to a lot of stuff. To me, that was the only disappointing player for me. Like I said, Terrence Steele was to be expected. I don't want to say Awuzie was disappointing, but he was off coverage a little bit too much. Like there was too much cushion when they ran routes on him. I thought that would be Anthony Brown, but I saw it a lot more in Awuzie than I did in Brown. He made a great pick, so I got to give him credit for that. One-handed, not looking for the ball. But we got to work on that. Luckily, I don't think we have the same problem this week, but that's something we still got to pay attention to.
Yeah, definitely. And like Cole said, Rams coaching staff was ready for this game, and we weren't. They had the perfect offensive game plan. That brings up a great point that I was actually going to touch on.
Yeah.
I seen a really interesting stat that is pretty. It's pretty wild. So it's referring to motion, putting a player in motion at the snap.
Yeah, which the Rams do often.
The Rams
every play.
The Rams actually 33.8% of the time had someone in motion at the snap. That was number one in the entire NFL, and they won.
Can I take a guess
next?
where it was?
Can
I take a guess where? Do you have our stat too?
I do. I'll get to that too.
All right, let me take a guess before you say it.
So let me round off the first or the top. Let's see. I'll go through the first 12 teams.
Okay.
On this list that had the highest percentage of snaps where someone was in motion at the snap. Rams won, then Patriots, Washington, Ravens, Steelers, Bills, Chargers, Saints, Chiefs, Seahawks, Raiders, Packers. Those are 12 teams that had the most motion at the snap. You know what they all had in common? All 12 of them won.
They won the game, right? Exactly.
All 12 of them won, and they had the most. You know where we finished at? 26th.
Let me take a guess at how many we had. I will say
percentage wise.
no. Do you have the number or the percentage?
Just the percentage of the time of the snaps that we had someone in motion at the snap.
I would probably say 12%.
4.3%.
Wow.
That put us at 26th in the NFL in pre-snap motion. And if you look at the bottom half of this list, I'm gonna start from 32 and go all the way up to us at 26. Vikings, and they lost. Falcons, and they lost. Giants, and they lost. Dolphins, and they lost. Jets, and they lost. Browns, and they lost. Cowboys, and they lost. The whole trend is every team in the bottom of pre-snap motion that had a very low percentage lost their game.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is a new direction that people need to be.
We got
McCarthy. Well, McCarthy's the analytics guy now. So I'm expecting him to look at these kind of analytics.
Now, speaking of analytics, great segue. And Tony put this up there. Tony, you got to give us time here, man. We just getting warmed up. We getting there. Trust me. Speaking of analytics, our coach made the decision to go for it on 4th and 3. Now, I did not like the decision. I can understand it because according to what Mike McCarthy said, we're going to be all about winning.
Yeah.
But I hate the decision. What did you think about the play call?
I hated it. And I'm not just saying that because it didn't work. Because some people were like, well, if it would have worked, people would have liked it. No, I didn't like it at all. Like, before they snapped the ball, I was already mad about it. I was just like, I was heated right off the bat. I was like, this is stupid. I don't understand. Like, we could tie the game. It's a close game. There's plenty of time left. I don't understand it because all it did was give them a big advantage and take a lot of pressure off of the Rams when we didn't convert that. I didn't like their decision at all. I didn't at all.
And again, we were at Los Angeles in their new $4 billion stadium. We have to take every advantage we can get because what happened, if it gets to a close game, the calls are going to go their way because they're at home and this is the primetime game and their stadium is huge and they were on Hard Knocks. We gave it to them and we shouldn't have. And I swear, Mendoza, it's like you're reading my mind. The 3rd down call is what really bothered me.
The run?
Yes. Why don't we do play action right there? We don't do play action enough. If it were me, Dak is an athletic quarterback. Already in the game, he had ran for probably 20 yards. You do a bootleg, you give him 3 options. You throw it short for a first, you throw it intermediate, or you go for the touchdown. If all 3 of those options are on, you scramble for 5 yards because I think it was 3rd and 5. You put him in that situation to make that play.
Okay, and what makes, speaking of intermediate throws, and what makes that even more of a dumb decision to do a run there on 3rd down is, do you know what Dak, what his stats were on intermediate throws of 10 to 19 yards?
Probably perfect.
6 for 6, 108 yards, and 118 quarterback rating. 108 yards, 6 for 6.
Yeah, and that comes down
to doing it. Yeah.
But that also comes to how the Rams are playing us. The Rams played us. We're gonna let our big D tackles get to the house. Our corners, except for Ramsey, are gonna play off 7 or 8 yards. So when you see that and it's 3rd and 5, why are you not taking advantage of that? You only need 5 yards. They're playing off 7. Somebody's gonna be open at some point, or maybe somebody catches it at 3 yards and turns it upfield or something. But you got to use Dak more. He's an athletic guy. Let him make plays. Let him get that $40 million. Brian, thanks for joining us. I think you just came in, but Lambo and I both agree that was a terrible play call. They shouldn't have gone for it. Before we move off of that, I know you saw this, but people are blaming Dak for throwing the ball to CeeDee Lamb. The play was executed well. The rookie made a mistake. He should have never been put in that situation.
Nope.
But he made a mistake. He did not look for the sticks when he cleared the screen or the pick route, and he got tackled where he caught the ball at.
Yeah, it's completely on the rookie, man. It's
exactly.
not on, I mean, as the quarterback, you know the route that everyone's running. You expected them to be where they're supposed to be.
And
You
the
make
play
them
was
throw.
really right for him.
And he's got a split second pretty much to get that throw out. Not a split second. He's got 2-3 seconds to get that throw out. He can't count the dashes himself and make sure he's where he needs to be. I mean, you can't really tell that from a vertical angle or looking from the angle he's at, man. Lamb just made a rookie mistake. Didn't run far enough out.
Cole, I see your point. I appreciate your feedback, man. You made some great comments, so I appreciate that. I gotta agree to disagree on this one. The fact that we're on the road makes me think you don't take chances like that. You don't let opportunity slip away. I think you play it more conservative. You tie the game there, and then that bad call on Michael Gallup, that stopped you from winning the game instead of losing the game.
And not even that, it's not the typical on the road. I mean, there was no roaring crowd.
Right.
It was pretty much a silent stadium.
Yeah.
Like McCarthy even said, it was so quiet.
And Cowboys 2068, thank you for joining us. I like the fact that CD stepped up, a veteran move, took responsibility, and said he's going to do better. That's not something you normally see with rookies. So that makes me feel good about the type of guy that we got.
Yeah, me too.
All right, so we've gone past the 30-minute point, Lambo. Let's go through one more thing about this game before we move on to Atlanta. And we've talked about a lot of negatives here. What is give me 2 positives that you took from this game.
The one positive is Zeke finished as the highest graded running back in the entire NFL with the 82.7 grade.
Yeah.
That was positive. And you know why that's positive? Even more so than people probably realize.
Because Zeke is normally not in shape to week 7.
That too. He's in great shape.
Great.
He's in great shape. But no, not just that. Everybody has the O-line excuse. The old Emmitt Smith excuse.
Yeah.
Well, anybody want to take a wild guess where our offensive line as an entire unit ranked as far as every O-line among the 32 teams?
I know at least 4 of our guys ranked bottom 5, not 5%, bottom 5 players. So it couldn't be good.
We finished as the 3rd worst ranked or rated offensive line in the NFL, y'all. 3rd worst. Yet Zeke finished as the 1st rated running back. So Zeke is here to play this year.
And old Saquon Barkley, who everybody thought was better than Zeke, had 15 carries for 6 yards.
Yeah. You know who had more than that? Ben Roethlisberger.
I had 6 less yards Barkley had Sunday.
People wanted to jump straight to the O-line thing when I started clowning on that 15 carries for 6 yards. They're like, oh yeah, but he don't have the O-line like Zeke. I'm like, you realize Zeke just had the 3rd worst rated O-line week 1, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. But
you got another one?
Another positive. Well, Dak would be obvious. I mean, he looked good, but let me see. Let me think of a different one.
All right. Well, while you think of that, I got 2 of them I want to talk about. The first positive, we finally have punt returning back in Dallas. We only had 1 punt return, but CeeDee Lamb took that thing for 20 plus yards. So that was a real bright spot for me because that's something I haven't seen since probably 2018.
Yeah.
For us to have an explosive punt return.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
If we can actually make the team punt next week, I expect us to have some good returns. If that's the first one.
Are you saying your second one?
Huh?
Are you about to say your second one?
Go ahead. You can say your second one.
I'm saying I don't know why it slipped my mind. The second one's probably going to be. It might be the same second as you.
Probably. Everybody's saying in the chat.
Are we talking about a guy that's been out of the league a while?
Yep.
Boom. That's got to be it. Yeah, Aldon Smith.
Yep. Everybody's saying it. Aldon Smith.
Impressive.
That guy had 11 tackles and a sack. And a knockdown in his first game back after 5 years?
Yeah, like 5 years, bro.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane. You know, and it made me happy because people were talking a lot of trash on him. Like, I don't know what you expect him to be. He's a bum. He's been out of the league for so long.
Exactly. And
then
like
he's an all-star
too.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question before we move on to Atlanta. Aldon Smith clearly was our best defensive end this week. how many weeks does it take before one of these higher paid guys gets put on the bench?
I don't know. I know
Or Everson Griffin.
to D-Law's defense,
Here we go.
he did have 4 pressures, which was the most among all of our pass rushers. So he did have 4 pressures, which led our pass rushers.
I don't trust that stat because
Yeah.
the game I saw, Alden Smith had more than 1 pressure. That sack wasn't his only pressure because sacks count for pressures.
Yeah, that stat was a little concerning too because it did have Alden Smith listed as 1 pressure, and I'm like, no, there's no way he only had 1 pressure.
I counted 3 pressures for Alden Smith.
Yeah.
I didn't look for anybody else because I wanted to see there's no way he had 1 pressure. I counted 3 that I would consider a pressure. But now, like I said, let's assume Alden Smith has 3 sacks in the first 4 games, and he averages 8 tackles a game the next 4 games. And D-Law is getting pressures, but that sack stat is still sitting at a goose egg. Is there any chance Alden Smith gets that spot? Any chance?
I don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening?
Just because what they have invested in him, and it's quite likely that Alden Smith will not be here next year.
They better make that happen, Lambo. We can't let that guy walk out the stadium without a contract by week 8.
He's gonna take the biggest payday he can find where he's missed so much time in the league, and I don't think we can give him what he's gonna want if he keeps performing like he did week 1.
We cleared $25 million this year. I need to see at least $8 million of that go to Alden Smith going forward.
Yeah, if they can get him on like a 2-3 year deal, that would be good.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, Tony, we can't let him go next year. We can't let him leave this year without a contract. Forget next year.
They need to go ahead up and write him up a contract now.
Exactly. Because if we don't, our only options are going to be franchise tag or watch him walk. And I'd much rather have what I saw Sunday than whatever 3rd or 4th round pick we get by him signing a big contract with somebody else. That guy was special week 1.
He was.
And I feel like it's only going to go up from there.
Here's something completely off the wall. Would you welcome back a David Irving?
No.
All right. Thought I'd throw that out there.
No, we don't need him.
I know he recently said to somebody, I think it was West Coast actually. He told West Coast, he said you plan on coming back, and he said sooner than you think. So I was like, oh,
David Irving is not coming back to football. I can promise that.
He's a little too busy. He's a little too busy.
He is not coming back to football.
If he could get his mind in the right place, man, could have been something special. But
I'm with you, Cowboys 26-8. But our bye week goal needs to be Alden Smith comes to the office every day, and we figure out a contract before he leaves.
Yeah, just give him some stipulations that save us, and let's do it.
Tony, I see Tony's right there with me. Let that bum stay where he is. Now, Jeff brings up another point, and we've been talking about this longer than I wanted to. What do you think about Randy Gregory week 6 when he returns?
I can't wait for him to return, to be honest with you. I feel like we can use him.
Yeah, I agree too. But do you think it's a log jam at defensive end by the time we get there? If Alden Smith continues to perform?
It could be, I guess, but there's no telling how things will shake out. We don't know if, an injury will occur or so much stuff could happen between now and then. I don't know, man. I would like to think that they would find a way to get him out there, though.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we spent a lot of time on that, and we do have a game coming up this Sunday, and we're at the 40-minute mark, so we're going to try to keep it to another 40 or so. We like to keep it at an hour, but if we have to go hour 15, hour 20, we will. Again, thank you, everybody who's joining us tonight. You guys have had the comments lit tonight, and I appreciate that. Great topics, great discussion, great comments overall. So you guys are really on your A game tonight. So once we move to this Falcons talk, I want you guys to keep that same energy. Taiwan, I'm gonna get to that, Taiwan, but I need to move forward to Atlanta because we have 40 minutes. All right, so now we move on to Atlanta. And I'm playing with something, guys. So bear with me if it doesn't work. But our first topic we're going to talk about is the storylines.
Storylines.
All right.
How about them storylines?
It worked pretty good. It's going to get better as we move forward. Lambo challenged me last week to put something together, so I had to meet the challenge.
Storylines.
So the first storyline we have to talk about is injury. We sustained a lot of injuries last week, and we've been doing a little scrambling this week to try to find some guys to replace those spots. Who do you think is the biggest injury we have to deal with?
Oh, golly. It's going to be between right tackle and the linebacker position.
Do you count Cam Irvin as a loss though? Like seriously, he was on field goal when he got hurt.
No, I mean, not nowhere near as the loss of LVE.
Yeah.
Linebacker is going to be the biggest concern. It looks like they're going internal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they didn't bring Francis Bernard up from the practice squad yet either.
Thank you for bringing that up. And I'll talk about that as soon as you finish.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. And I'll let you,
we got a lot of LBs in here, and my boy Cole going with Jarwin, which easily.
Yeah, you're right.
I may have to go on a rant about tight end, but I'll try to hold it because I want to keep this thing short. Let me say this first. The reason they didn't bring Francis Bernard up is because they signed a guy named Rashard Smith, a rookie linebacker from Chicago's from Chicago's practice squad. The way the mechanisms work, in order to sign a guy off somebody else's practice squad, you have to put him on your 53-man roster. So because of that, they couldn't bring Francis Bernard up this week. If they like this guy, they have to put him on the 53-man roster this week. And then next week, they can cut him and put him on the practice squad. But he has to go on the 53-man roster this week. The beauty of it is we designated Francis Bernard as our untouchable for this week.
We get 4 of those, right?
4 of those, right.
This way, we can have both of them.
Exactly.
Without risking losing.
So now, if we want Francis Bernard to play this week, we can just bring him up as our practice squad guy for this week. And then next week, we can cut Rashard Smith, put him on the practice squad, and we can let Francis Bernard get that 53-man roster spot. Mendoza said some good things, and I agree. He's a small linebacker. He reminds me a lot of Francis Bernard from what I've seen. Small linebacker, great in coverage, solid tackler, not very good in the trenches, but if he gets a tackle, he's gonna make a tackle. So hopefully that helps fill that middle linebacker spot. Hopefully Jalen gets to go back to outside because I don't want to see him in middle again trying to cover.
I don't either.
For sure. So yeah, like Cowboys 26-8 said, yeah, they can still bring him in. So we're gonna probably see Francis Bernard this week. I'm sure of it. Don't let the Rashard Smith thing fool you guys. Francis Bernard will be on the team. Brian talked about the safety.
I was literally about to say, and then we got that guy Stephen Parker, if that's who he's referring to, I believe.
Stephen Parker.
Which I don't know a lot about, but I know he played at Oklahoma, which is a big school. Yep. But he did go undrafted. He got good size, 6'1", 208.
He had 2 picks last year.
And 2 picks. And what is kind of impressive about that, if I can remember, I was trying to look it up because I can't quite remember, but those 2 picks came on pretty limited amount of
Yeah, he did. He wasn't a starter last year.
Yeah,
he had, I believe, 6 passes defensed and 2 interceptions. Only playmakers can do that, guys. The average safety can't step on the field and get 2 picks and 6 passes defensed. So this guy may have some playmaking ability we can take advantage of in the future.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been in the league long either. So, I mean, he's probably still – you could still develop this guy. He just came in the league in 2018 as undrafted free agent. He last season, 14 games with the Dolphins, 20 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. So 6'1", 210. So I mean, the potential's there. See what happens.
Yeah, I saw that breakdown Law Nation did today too. Law Nation
Yeah.
does a great job on his breakdowns.
I watched that as well. Y'all should go check that out.
Yeah. So Andre Anulak, I hope I pronounced that right. I don't recognize the name, so thank you for joining us as well. We appreciate your support. He asked, "Will Brandon Carr help our safeties?" Actually, Brandon Carr just got a 53-man roster spot this week. He's no longer on the practice squad. He's on the active roster. So the fact that they put him on the roster tells me they expect to have a big role for him coming up this week.
I think he will help. The veteran leadership he has, he's a very smart dude. He really is. I believe, you know what? Last week makes the first time his entire career that he hadn't started.
Exactly.
He's been starting since I think like 2008 or something like that without missing a game.
Yeah.
So the experience he has is incredible. I think he'll definitely help out. He played very well at safety last year. And most of all, he's just an amazing locker room guy.
Yeah.
So, and he can't do much worse than Thompson. Now, Thompson wasn't terrible. There was times where I seen him really step up and make some great tackles in that game.
I counted 3 tackles he missed, so that concerns me.
But then he
made 11.
And now one of those that he missed though was getting run over on the goal line and giving up a touchdown.
That's true.
So if you're gonna be my strong safety, I'm gonna need you to lay some wood at that point in time, right there But that didn't exactly happen. Was it Malcolm Brown ran straight through him?
It was.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need my Roy Williams back, man. Oh.
Well, one thing I didn't like, I didn't even know Xavier Woods was on the field. That concerned me.
I didn't either. That's crazy you say that. I don't even remember him. I watched the game twice and don't even remember
I don't remember a tackle. I don't remember seeing him close to a catch. Nothing.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's what I'm wondering. Because I don't even know, man. I didn't notice him either.
I'm saying it's a bad thing, but he's going to get a lot of challenges this week, for sure. So let's
and then again, though, if he would have got burnt a few times, we would have known. We'd have been like, dang, Woods. Hey, Tristan Hill, gave something to be a little happy about. He got into the backfield, made a good tackle for loss.
I think he was our best D tackle this week. So, yeah.
But tight end, tight end is tight end and linebacker, man. I'm more concerned about tight end, honestly. Possibly. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
Mendoza brought up a good point. We brought in O'Grady and Swoop. Let me say this, Lambo. I need a minute. Let's stop talking about Charles Clay and Vernon Davis and who's the other tight end that's like
Delaney Walker. Let
me say this, guys.
I'm 57 years old. No,
exactly. I made a tweet this past week, and in that tweet, I said, if the Cowboys sign a guy that we've heard of, we should be disappointed because that means our front office isn't doing their job. I can go sign Delaney Walker. If we lose a tight end, I can pull up the list. Oh, here's a name I recognize, Delaney Walker. Let's sign him. That's not what we want from our front office. What I want to see is apples to apples. If you sign Delaney Walker, you're giving me apples to oranges. And I saw that, Mendoza. I didn't want to call you out. But I want apples to apples. If my offense has been predicated around having a young, athletic tight end who can stretch the field, don't give me Jason Witten 2.0 because that's what you're getting with Delaney Walker and Vernon Davis and Charles Clay. I want you to give me another tall, athletic tight end who can stretch the field. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, and we have a secret ingredient to all this. If anybody remembers his name, is Will McClay.
Will McClay, exactly.
This is what he does.
That's my point, Lambo. He is the master at finding young players. Let's let him do his job. Let's not take the easy way out and pull up the list and say, oh, here's a guy who's been in the league for 15 years. I recognize his name. Let's go sign him. No, you go find me a young deer who can stretch the field. He doesn't even have to make a bunch of catches. We just need him so that we can stay honest to the scheme that we put in place. And
Exactly.
I put a couple names down here because I'm just that type of nerd to research stuff. I like O'Grady Mendoza. So great point. I like this kid from Arkansas. Athletic, gonna catch any ball in his sight, and gonna stretch the field. But if we want to make a trade, here are a couple names I'm looking at. I'm looking at teams who are known for having good tight end play. So I'm looking at Baltimore. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. I'm looking at New York. New York has Caden Smith from Stanford. Tight end factory. Let's go see if let's go talk to them and see what they want to do. Baltimore has I can't think of his name. I think it's O'Leary. They drafted him about 2 years ago.
I think it is O'Leary.
Their 4th round pick was so good from 3 years ago, they traded their 1st round tight end. That tells me they know how to develop tight ends. So let's go see if they want to talk.
It's a great point.
New York, I said the New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh has been a tight end factory as well. And they have a guy who was in San Francisco who probably should have got a chance to play, but George Kittle's just a monster. Vance McDonald. Let's call them up. And then I got one more for you. The Kansas City Chiefs have a 6'7" tight end who runs a 4.5, 4.6 named Ricky Seals Jones. Ricky Seals Jones.
He played with Arizona before, right?
Played with Arizona.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go call Kansas City up and see if we can get that guy. These are things we need. We don't need 40-year-old guys who are going to run 3-yard routes and linebackers can cover them. I need a guy that's going to make that safety make a decision. I'm sorry. I just had to go on that rant.
I completely agree with you as far as what you're saying there.
Oh, Mendoza,
Denver,
Jake Butt.
Jake Butt.
I swear, Mendoza, you read my mind.
I forgot all about him, man.
He had 2 ACL surgeries, but he's a super athletic guy. He made a couple plays on Monday Night Football as well.
Here's another thing too. Jarwin got a contract. They see him as the future. They're not looking to go out and trade for this big name when Jarwin is likely going to be the guy for the next foreseeable future.
Right.
I think they just want someone with potential that can bridge the gap and then also be a good addition to the team, going forward next year. But I think they view Jarwin as that guy still. I really do. So I don't think they would target a trade for like a high caliber, like OJ Howard type player. But, well, speaking of, like you said, Tampa, they got Brait and OJ Howard. If they make a trade like that, it's to make that person the tight end of the future. But I just find that hard to see with Jarwin getting that contract.
And plus, I think Tampa's going to want more than a late round pick. I think we can get Ricky Seals Jones for a 5th or 6th rounder.
Yeah, that. And you're not going to want to tie up big money in 2 tight ends.
Right. You're not getting OJ Howard for a 6th rounder.
Yes. And I ain't tying up that much money for my tight end 1 and my tight end 2.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
All right. So let's move on to our next topic. And this is some of the key matchups that we're going to see this week.
Key matchups.
So,
Man, I love that. I love that. Oh, key matchups.
So the first key matchup is, of course, our offensive line versus Atlanta's defensive line. Now, for you guys that aren't familiar with Atlanta, they do have 2 very experienced pass rushers. They have Takk McKinney, who was the 1st round pick, and they also have what's the guy's name they got from Jacksonville? Dante Fowler.
He's on the injury report.
Oh, he is?
Let me remember.
He is on the injury report, you're right. But I don't think he did not practice today, though.
He was a Dante Fowler was. Oh man, you're right. He was a full participant. Yeah,
right.
Their defensive tackle Marlon Davidson was limited.
Yeah.
Their defensive end, Charles Harris, did not practice.
Mhm.
Julio was limited. And then they had a tackle, Jake Matthews, did not practice, and a cornerback that did not practice.
Yeah, you're right, Brian, but he was drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars at first.
Originally.
I know guys by college and draft. So if they change multiple teams, sometimes I forget a team. But I'm a draft guy.
I'm a Gators fan, so I was so excited about Fowler when he was coming out of the draft, man. I thought Rams were going to get a steal with him. I thought Jags were. And then once he went to the Rams from the Jags, I was like, oh, Rams just got them one. Now he's right back with another team and right back to injuries galore. Yeah.
And that would be a good trade, Mendoza, if that's what we talk about.
I was about to say Grady Jarrett's a problem, but Elazar, you're always right there on pace with us, man. Just right there.
And Cowboys 20 said the same thing about no slouch. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, especially with Terrence Steele if he's the starter versus a guy like a Takk McKinney. Takk McKinney's been underperforming, but the talent is there. So I'm interested in seeing how that matchup goes.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, Aaron Donald just destroyed grown men. I don't expect to see that this week.
Right. He made Zeke look like he was Darren Sproles blocking.
Yeah.
He literally picked Zeke up and threw him. We're talking about like a 228-pound block of muscle.
And Zeke is a great pass blocker, too. Yeah. So you see that. That's like really concerning. Whew. Now, let's talk about the other side of the ball. Because we don't know Brian. Of course, they're gonna probably keep it a secret. They brought in a tackle to try out today, so we don't know if they're gonna sign him or not. I would doubt he comes in and plays this soon. So I think we're probably gonna see another week of Terrence Steele. And again, he didn't play terrible. So it's not like he cost us that game. So we probably will see another week of him.
Yeah, like I definitely feel most comfortable going out there with Terrence Steele rather than switching it up. He, like you said, he wasn't horrendous, so I'd be kind of scared to switch it up right now. The thing that does worry me though is there's tape on him now. So Elena's sitting there, zeroing in right now. I mean, they're sitting there just.
Great point.
This is what they're doing right now. Mm-hmm. They're just watching every little detail about how they're going to pick this young man apart. And that's what's got me worried, the tape.
That's real football thinking right there. People don't think about that. The team that just played him had nothing on him because we didn't have a preseason. Now they got a full game of tape. They probably rewound every time he gave up a pressure and a sack to see what they did against him to see if they could replicate it.
That's where I'm worried at.
Yeah. And you're right, that tackle does have ties to McCarthy. So let's take it to the other side. Here's an interesting stat about the Falcons. Before week 1, they were the first team in NFL history where all 11 players were first round picks. But they cut the receiver from Minnesota that came from Ole Miss. I can't even think of his name now.
Hold on.
They cut him.
Did Treadwell come there? Was it Treadwell?
Yeah.
Okay.
They cut Treadwell, so now they got in there. But all 5 of their offensive linemen are first-round picks, former first-round picks, which is ridiculous. But that sounds like a good thing. But if you watch the Seattle game like I did last week, Seattle's defensive line consisted of Bisson Mayowa, could barely make our team 3 years ago.
And now he looks great.
Poona Ford, L.J. Collier, who they were calling the draft bust up until last week, and then some other defensive end I've never heard of. And those guys generated 6 sacks against Matt Ryan last week.
Good point.
You just beat me to it, Brian. Can we get some sacks this week? Because Seattle looked like the Redskins against this line.
You know what?
Our ends are much better.
I think we will get more sacks this week, and here's why. Jared Goff his air yards per throw was around 4 yards, roughly, somewhere in the 4-yard range. His normal average in air yards per throw is closer to 8, which tells me that they expected to get the ball out quick week 1. So I don't think that we're going to see the same thing with Atlanta. I mean, the Rams literally schemed around quick, getting the ball out.
That's their That's their
I
game.
mean, even more so than normal.
And misdirection to knock off your ends. That's
Yeah.
Atlanta plays you straight up. We got 3 talented receivers. They're all going to run deep routes. Let's see if we can get the ball to them.
Are we going to put someone over the top on Julio entire game?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Spicy.
Yeah. How many? So I agree with you, Lambo. How many sacks do you think we get this week?
I think D-Law gets his first sack of the season.
Okay.
I think Alden gets another sack this week.
Okay.
I think Everson Griffin gets a sack.
So you're looking at 3 sacks?
And I think, you know what? Give me 4. Throw Tristan Hill in the bag.
I was just thinking the same thing, actually. Cowboys 26-8, good point. I think his snap to throw was like 2.2 seconds or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yeah.
In a positive, stupid.
But yeah, so now you go to our next key matchup, Lambo. That's their receivers versus our corners. Now, Cole, you just beat me to it. We talked about this preseason, and I circled the game, and I asked you the question.
You did.
Does Diggs follow Julio, or does Diggs cover Julio? Because Julio doesn't move. Julio plays in one spot. That's how their offenses ran. Julio's on the right, Ridley's on the left, Gage is in the slot. He doesn't move. Do we see Diggs go over there? What do you think?
I'd like, I wasn't, when we talked about it before on our past show, I was kind of like pessimistic in a way because I was like, I love Diggs, but I don't want a cornerback in his rookie season I don't want his confidence to get broken, early on. But he played pretty solid.
He did.
And, if I'm being honest, I think I would trust him more than Awuzie.
Good point.
When he got his freaking hit around on that deep pass, that even though it was completed because it was a perfect ball, like we talked about, the fact that he just played the ball so well gives me the most confidence with him being the one on shading Julio. And then throw him a safety over top. Let the other receivers have to beat us.
Cole coming with his bold prediction early. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's get it. He's going to jump around on Julio. He's going to jump it. The safety's going to be over the top just in case. And let's do it, Diggs. Let's do it.
Hey, Jesse, thank you for joining us again tonight. Appreciate your comments and your support.
Hey, Jesse.
Lewis will be starting because he is off the injury report. He was a full participant in practice, so I feel like he's going to stay in that slot out game.
And that's going to be good because Lewis can limit Gage for sure.
He can. That's
going to make a big difference. Then we're going to just have to see what Ridley's going to do.
Yeah.
But I feel confident. I feel confident putting it on. I'd rather put it on. All right, here's what I'm worried about. I'm a little worried about Hurst.
Okay, Hayden Hurst. Tight end.
Yeah. Like we've talked about, like safety's not a strong point for us, and the linebacker is absolutely horrendous, which we thought was going to be a strong point, and it's not. Brandon Carr, does he help take care of Hurst?
I don't know.
I think Brandon Carr could really help covering the tight end.
That would make a lot of sense.
It would. So I guess we'll find out, but it would make some sense. I'd feel more confident with, like, I watched some of the Ravens tape of him at safety, and he did very well against tight ends. He wasn't bad. So
so I'm looking forward to that. I think my transition didn't come in like I wanted to. Let's try it again. So we're at hour 5. We're gonna open the phone lines up for a minute if anybody wants to call in and talk about anything with us before we get out of here.
Are we doing our key our keys to victory.
The game, keys to victory. Let's see if we are doing that.
Keys to victory.
All right.
You gotta be kidding me, yo! I didn't know he had that slide put together at all, and I literally just said the words. Are we doing keys to victory? You gotta be kidding me.
Since Lambo called for it, we had. So
that's insane, bro.
all right. So keys to victory. Since you brought it up, what are 3 keys to us winning this game?
3. Oh, okay.
Let's do 2.
2. One is going to be controlling the clock. I think we need to have a strong ground game. We need to establish the run. Zeke needs to eat. I just really think we need to let Zeke eat. We need to control the line of scrimmage, man. We gotta just pound the rock, tire them down, and control the clock. And number 2 is one of the hot boys.
You got the chain?
Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is got to have a good game. If we're going to win, he cannot be the 4th worst linebacker in the league this week. He's got to put in work. One of our hot boys has got to step it up. So
I'm with you on that one. And I see Andre and Mendoza both hit on one of my keys to victory. First of all, the run game. We cannot let Atlanta do what the Rams did to us. And that start the game off pounding the ball down our throats for a touchdown. Because if they do that, that opens up their entire stretch passing game. Because now that makes our defensive ends and defensive tackles have to kind of hesitate for a second instead of rushing upfield and giving Matt Ryan the time he needs to throw the ball. So we definitely got to take care of stopping Todd Gurley. And I might be in the minority on this one. Todd Gurley looked a step slow to me.
Did he?
He ran hard. I won't take that from him. But to me, he looked a step slow. He didn't look as agile as he normally does. I didn't see them pass him the ball. And that's normally one of his strong points.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they don't throw him the ball and he's a step slow, that may work to our benefit. But we need Dontari Poe to get his fat ass in the game. Fog up the middle. That is a major key to this game.
If he get his dang hit in the game, man.
I don't want to hear he's rusty. I don't want to hear he's out of shape. He's 340 pounds. All you got to do is be fat and take up space. I could do that. I mean, I'm not that taller than him. I'm at 320. I could hold up. I think I could hold up better than what he showed. I may get whooped backwards, but I'm not just gonna stand up and take it like he did.
I know, man. That's funny.
So, my other key to the game: whoever guards Julio needs to be ready to go to war. And I really feel like this may be a game where you may want to throw Diggs in the fire because I feel like he matches up better against a tall, deep threat wide receiver than the Whoopsie does. Good point, Jesse. Hill did chase that guy down on 3rd down. He made that play. I think the play you're talking about, it was 3rd and 4, and they did kind of a toss pass to Brown. And Hill chased the guy down, and it made him go wide long enough for Diggs to come in and make that tackle. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the play you're talking about. He showed some motor this game, and he showed some aggressiveness and some penetration. So I need to see them go to war with Julio, and I need to see our run game produce. I don't really have a lot of scares about our offensive line and receivers against this team. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for telling me that. But I think this is the one game. I think after what I saw from Seattle, I better see the offense that I expected. If I don't, I'm gonna have some serious problems when I come back next Wednesday, guys. I'm just letting you know that.
I'm gonna tell you something that just scared me to death, kind of in a way, because
Okay.
it's something we talked about earlier when I was mentioning the pre-snap motions
Mm-hmm.
and how Rams did that the most in the league and completely just, the top 12 teams with the highest percentage of pre-snap motion won their games. The
Yeah.
bottom 10 lost their games, and we were in that bottom 10.
Right.
Jeff Kavanaugh retweeted this saying, no, 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 please be fake. Leave me alone. And what it's referring to is Aaron Rodgers in his interview.
Uh-huh.
Aaron Rodgers said he has fully embraced all of the pre-snap motion in Matt LaFleur's offense and said for a long time here, I didn't want any motion, and Mike didn't like motion.
Mm-hmm.
So basically he was going on a rant. Mike McCarthy didn't like pre-snap motions.
Yeah.
And we just seen that all the teams that lost had one thing in common. Hardly any pre-snap motion. So I'm like, why you got to do that to me right now?
But one good thing about this week is the coach on their side of the field doesn't believe in pre-snap motions either. They play almost identical to how we play. We're going to line our three best receivers up, and they're going to go to work against your tight ends.
That may be a good point because – yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Goodness gracious. We were 4.3%, which was 26th least pre-snap motions. You know what Atlanta was? 31st with 1.3%. So they do no pre-snap motion.
I know. That's what I'm saying. They line the three best guys up and go at it.
Woo. Okay.
So again, this works in our favor this week.
Now I will say
all their plays are long developing plays. Their offensive line is suspect, and their quarterback can't scramble. That's a perfect storm for a good comeback game for us.
Week 3.
And we're at home.
Week 3 with Seattle. Yeah. They are top 10 in pre-snap motion.
Yeah, that's let's just hope we go in 1-1 with them. But again, like I was saying, I expect to see a vertical offense this week. They made DK Metcalf look like an all-star on Sunday. And to me, we have 3 DK Metcalfs. So I expect us to be bums away. I expect at least one of these guys to have 100 yards receiving. And not the 100 yards like Coop almost got, where 10 catches, 80 yards. I'm expecting 5 catches, 100 yards, 20 yards a pop from one of our receivers.
Well, let's just hope that Julio don't blow up for 200 on us is all I'm hoping, man, because you know what's going to come to mind as soon as if that does happen? Go
ahead.
It's going to be – I'm going to be crying about Byron Jones. Because Byron Jones in week 1 already with the Dolphins. Week 1, he had 23 coverage snaps. He allowed 1 reception for 6 yards. The whole game. doing typical stuff. He don't get no picks, but you ain't catching the ball on him.
And speaking of no picks, that's one thing about Julio that doesn't scare me. He doesn't get touchdowns. So
it's true.
If he wants to stuff the stat sheet and we can hold him to field goals, I'm good with that because that's pretty much what Seattle did. They let him get all the yards he wants. Then they get to the money. They get to the money down in the red zone, and the Falcons couldn't produce. And then they go right back up the field and throw it over everybody's head for 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
AJ Terrell. Speaking of AJ Terrell, the team that put CeeDee Lamb in our laps, they took Terrell with CeeDee Lamb right there on the board. They took Terrell. I thought they were going to trade out of that spot with the Eagles. I swore I did. But they took AJ Terrell. CeeDee Lamb fell right to us.
Mendoza, I know you probably know. Oliver is the corner out of Colorado, I believe. Is that right? Let me know if you know if that's right.
Is Terrell starting? AJ Terrell?
I think he started last week, yeah.
I expect us to pick on him.
I expect us to pick on both of them.
Yeah.
So
the offensive line needs to hold up. Yeah. That get some time in the pocket.
You got any more keys to victory to talk about?
Pre-snap motions. No, I'm on. We'll have to write McCarthy now.
I know.
Because that is a convincing stat. But man, I don't. I think we really hit on the key points, man.
Yep.
All the key points.
Thanks for looking to that, Mendoza. I thought it was the kid from Colorado.
So none of y'all is gonna call in. At least give us a quick share. That'd be cool. You can do that if you ain't calling in.
So yeah, again, you guys have been on point today. Like, this is probably one of our best comment weeks ever, and I hope we continue to keep this going. So thank you guys, all of you guys, for your support and for your great comments and notes. You guys really keep the show going.
Thank y'all so much, and shout out to J Tuck. I see you in here.
Oh, J Tuck snuck in.
Yep, Cowboys fans only.
Yeah, man, and I don't know if you put that big news out there, but congratulations on it. I can't wait to find out what it is.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I didn't get a chance to catch your show today, but I know I'll more than likely turn around and watch it this week. We got one phone call.
I was about to say I would love if one of you guys would call in, man. We ain't nobodies. We just want to talk to somebody.
I don't hear it ringing though, so that's an issue. Let's try it. Hello?
Hey, what's going on, man? Chuck calling me.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah,
Doug?
this is Home Depot. Which department may I route you to? I'm just playing.
What's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, it's caught the show, man. I was just saying, so do you guys feel like this is a must-win game Sunday?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I ain't about starting 0-2. Forget all that mess.
Right.
No, man. Especially with Seattle week 3, bro. No.
Right. Yeah. So do you feel like there's added pressure on Mike McCarthy to actually get the job done and taken care of this week? Because if not, I feel like that's the time when Cowboys Nation might really press the panic button. Because, like you said, going into Seattle after this game, going 0-2, that's not a good look.
That's
so.
not. And Seattle's clicking on all cylinders too, so you don't want to go in there cold.
Right. So I feel like, and I said this earlier tonight, is that these next 2 games will pretty much let us know if this is a different Cowboys team or is it the same old who struggles against opponents. So.
Yeah. And
all right.
Whoever the 609 number is, I'll call you back after we get off this call. So don't worry about it. I'll get you.
All right, man. Well, I love the show, y'all. Y'all keep doing your thing, and I got Julio this weekend in our fantasy draft, so y'all know what's up.
Hey, you going against J Tuck? Who you got this week?
I think I got a Flag Runner.
Okay.
Flag Runner Cruz. All right.
Yeah, I might take it easy. I almost put up 200 last week, so I think I'm
a few hundred.
I beat a Super Cowboy by like 4 points. I barely scraped by.
Yeah.
I'm ready to play George Teague. I'm waiting for the week I play George Teague.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Y'all have a good one. Go Cowboys.
All right, man. Thanks for calling in.
See you, man.
No problem.
All right. Let's see if I can call this number back.
This Agua Fresca is on point.
So 609 number, I'm calling you back right now. Let's see if you answer.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
How you guys doing?
Man, we're good. Thank you for joining us.
No problem.
So what you got for us?
I just want to see the Cowboys whoop some ass this week and not get pounded so hard by the freaking run game,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
If, like you said, Don Terry Poe would do something with his fat ass, he can block some gaps up.
Yeah, he's got to get his fat ass away. I don't even care if he makes the tackle, just get in the way.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just stuff some.
All right, Brian, while we have you on the phone, let's do this real quick.
Game prediction.
All right, so while we got you on the phone, let's get your game prediction. What do you think the score is going to be?
We're playing at home. I see 27-20 win for the Cowboys.
Okay, all right. I can go with that. Do you think Zeke gets 2 touchdowns again like he did last week?
I think Zeke gets over 100 yards this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think CeeDee Lamb, he's going to score this week as well.
Okay.
Gallup's going to have a decent game. He's going to redeem that pass interference call.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see our defense get more than 1 sack this week as well.
Mm-hmm. I think we will. This week. And Cowboys 26-8, we love your support, man. Keep joining us. Keep leaving your great comments. We couldn't do this without you guys. All right, Brian, where are you calling from? I don't recognize that area code.
Calling from New Jersey, South Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, enemy territory.
Eagle territory.
I know. I was about to say, I'm sure it was a lot of sad faces on Monday after that one.
Man, it's horrible over here with Eagles, especially if they win and we lose. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Hear it all day long.
For sure. How long you been a Cowboys fan?
I've been a Cowboy fan since '89.
Okay.
Nice.
So you've seen the good and the bad.
Yeah, been there since Jones has been there, and it's not all been good, but there's been a lot of good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you got anything else you want to talk about while we got you on air?
Nah, I think I covered what I want to talk about, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, man, most definitely. Thank you for joining, and be sure to call back again anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in.
Sure will. I appreciate it.
All right, next time I open the phone lines up sooner so you can join in the conversation a little bit more. All right, thanks, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, so we got
low scoring.
So Lambo, you can think about your score now. We got a couple of scores in the comments I'll put up. Mendoza puts it close, 21-19. Jesse Murphy thinks we open it up a little bit more, 35-24. And then my boy Cole thinks we open it all the way up and get our first 40 burger. Oh, got another phone.
Here we go. We getting phone calls now.
When we hit an hour 20 minutes, the phone calls start coming in. All right, who we got on the line?
What's up, guys? It's Jeff, man.
What's up, Jeff?
What's up, Jeff?
Lambo. What's up, Mark?
All right, so hold on. Andre put up 31-24, and Cowboys.
Oh, come on, Andre. That was my score.
26-8 put up 34-24, another high scoring.
Bro, that was legit the score I was about to give you.
Andre said 31-24 Falcons, though. No, I'm joking. No, he said Dallas. He said Dallas.
That is crazy. I swear that's the exact score. So you already got mine, 31-24, just like Andre.
All right, Jeff, before I get mine, what you got for us this week?
My prediction, Cowboys 38, Falcons 24.
Oh, I like that.
I think Zeke is gonna go over 100 yards with a touchdown. I think Cooper is definitely gonna get a touchdown. I think all three receivers are gonna score a touchdown. And I'm gonna go with my wild card again that I went with last week and said Dak is gonna run one.
He almost ran one there. So
God, he was close.
So close. I'm just glad to see he ran it on third down and converted, though.
Nah, Schultz is about to get 3 touchdowns. And I'm just playing. Like, I'm not serious.
Look, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I think this is gonna be a game where we keep Schultz in to chip with Tech McKinley coming off the right end.
Yeah.
I mean, coming against the right tackle.
I hope it's Blake Bell doing the chipping because Schultz sucks at blocking.
I didn't get to make that point earlier, but one way Blake Jarvin benefits us is you're going to bring in your blocking tight end more to help out on that right side.
That is true because Jarwin was not that great blocking.
No, not at all.
So, I mean, they still got that's true. They'll probably I would assume Blake Bell is going to be right out there next to Steele a lot.
I would hope so. So,
what might give us do you think this gives us an advantage? Mike McCarthy told reporters he expects a 25% capacity at AT&T Stadium. That's approximately 20,000 fans.
20,000, yeah. They talked about that in the comments.
If that does happen, is that enough to really give you a little bit of an edge?
Yes.
In your home stadium? 20,000, 25,000? Yeah.
In our stadium, I would say yes. I would say yes. Why
I
you
don't
say
know.
no,
The
Jeff?
reason I say no is because our stadium at sometimes 90,000 still didn't give us the advantage.
You right about that. I can't take that one from you.
So that's why. I mean, it's good that they're going to have them. And 9 times out of 10 is probably going to be Cowboy fans. With a little Atlanta mixed in, but like I said, I've seen our stadium full to capacity, and we still didn't have the 12 man like the Seattle had. So I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Andre asked if we're going to use fullback more in the run game. Well, we actually don't have a fullback on the roster right now, so that one can't happen. The closest thing we have to a
Schultz was gonna
fullback,
be our ace back.
right? He was supposed to be, but now he may be our starting tight end. So
He has to be.
actually, Andre, good point. If Schultz is our new tight end, who's filling in that fullback role? Are we going
to say whoa?
I don't know. Go ahead, Lambo.
I don't. That is a good point, man. Maybe let Bell be the starter, man, and just have him block a ton.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Antoine Woods got some snaps at fullback.
I like it.
On Zeke's touchdown, he was the fullback on that play.
I didn't even notice.
So does Woods get some more snaps at that fullback spot?
Or let Poe? Well, then again, but you said Poe can block.
He can bust a
block
great
the defense. So he couldn't be fat enough to clog the holes.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea.
Let's let him focus on one thing at a time. For sure. So everybody else is saying they think we may have an advantage with this.
Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah. So yeah, Mendoza, I see you saw that as well when they brought Woods in. So that's one wrinkle we haven't seen in forever. A D tackle coming in to play some fullback. All right, so the Seahawks won 38-25, I believe. I could see us with about the same score. But that is only predicated on us jumping on them early. Last week, I said the Rams are going to get up early. We got to come back. This week, I expect us to be clicking on all cylinders, and I expect us to score touchdowns on both of our first two drives. So, yeah. We just talked about that, Mendoza. Let's let Poe focus on clogging up a hole before he worries about opening one up, because he opened up a lot of them as a D tackle last week. For sure.
Look, I mean, do y'all want to cut Poe? I mean, I hear some animosity. It's just one game.
His contract guaranteed now, so we can't get rid of him.
I think we just had high expectations that we finally got a fat guy that we could put in there, like a real fat guy, not like a 298 pounder, but like a true 330, 340 pound dude. And he didn't do what we expected.
Jeff trying to push my buttons. I know.
He's supposed to be our Gilbert Brown, if y'all remember him.
He's steak and potatoes and lifting weights all this week. So maybe he'll be a little bit better this week.
If he would have just maintained his position, I would be okay with it. He was getting pushed out the hole by one guy. That shouldn't happen at 340 pounds.
I agree. And a lot of times, like I say, it was pretty bad because his back was turned to the line of scrimmage.
Exactly.
And that really means you're getting blocked bad.
It was like a swinging gate.
Watch the start of the play.
That was a swinging gate. That's what they call it. And that happened way too much.
Yeah, it turned all the way around.
Yeah. All right, Jeff, you got anything else you want to talk about? I know we hit on a lot, but I'm sure it's still a little bit more meat on the bones. I know you probably had something you wanted to talk about before we get out of here.
Well, I was going to comment on the guarding of Julio.
Okay.
I got several ways that I would try to guard Julio. I do like the fact of Diggs going well, I like any coverage on him being somebody underneath and somebody over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking, I don't know how will we do this, but if we ran a coverage, because Brandon Carr is a big physical corner, and I believe that if he could get his hands on Julio at the line, not saying that he's going to jam him and stop him, but at least slow him down and then roll coverage over the top, I would like that as well.
But is Carr going to play corner this week?
Say that again.
Is Carr going to play corner this week? Because we don't know.
I believe he's going to play safety this week.
Okay.
But, with the ability of Carr being able to play safety or corner, as long as he's active and on the roster, I believe they can interchange him and put him in whatever position they want to put him in. So what I'm saying is sometimes I would probably try to have Carr rolling over the top of him because, I mean, Carr is not the fastest corner or fastest person in the league. But if you're playing 20 yards off, you shouldn't – I don't think you should get burnt playing 20 yards off. But like I said, I think they should kind of mix it up with some underneath covers of Carr and Diggs under Julio, and then I always keep a person over top. At least you know he's not going to beat you deep.
Yeah. Like Jesse Murphy said, we kind of talked about this before. This is a blitzable game because they run – we're going to line our best three guys up. We're going to try to give them time to get open. None of that dink and dunk, none of that motion shift stuff. So I think this is a game, if we can blitz them, we can make some stuff happen. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And Diggs is a press corner. So if we can blitz and then get Diggs to get a hand on somebody like a Ridley or a Julio, that's going to bode well in our favor. Because Julio is not an inside 10 yards receiver. He's a 15 and up receiver. So if you don't let him get to that point, you have a good chance of neutralizing them.
And I really don't feel like Julio is going to be the problem. I feel like Ridley is going to be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like really the overall, well, he's got to get some years behind him. But as a receiver, to me, Julio is going to be like a one-trick pony almost. He's going to go deep. I mean, he can run the dig routes and stuff, but I believe Ridley has more of the route tree than Julio has. Yeah. And that's why I think he's a little bit more dangerous.
All right, before you go, Kerry, thank you for joining us, man. I mean, you got George Teague and Big Game James together. I mean, who could pass that up? And appreciate you joining us on Periscope as well. While we're talking about that, George Teague has a podcast, guys. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow night, be sure you tune into that because he's going to have Darren Woodson on with him. So that should be a great show.
Wow.
Teague's
Takes. But Kerry, we appreciate you coming over and joining us for a little bit of the end of it. Brian asked a question about Atlanta going dink and dunk. That's not Atlanta's game. When you deal with certain teams, their coaches and their offensive coordinators are too prideful to switch up what they do. You look at a team like Atlanta, you look at a team like Philly, teams like that who have great offenses, or Kansas City, they feel like what I do works, and they're not going to try to strategize, even though they know what will work against them. So I don't think we're going to see that much this week. A team like that, they build their team to stretch the field.
And they also believe that their guy is better than your guy.
Exactly.
That's why they're not going to change their philosophy.
To a team like that, it's almost an insult for them to have to do dink and dunk when they feel like all their receivers can stretch the field. And Brian brings up a good point. They do run the screen game well too, but I feel like they're going to just try to line it up and see what happens.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree.
All right. We at 135. Lambo, you want to get one more quick segment in?
Yeah. Is it fantasy?
No, we'll save that for. We want to do fantasy or bold prediction. We'll do one more.
We'll leave it up to the chat.
All right, guys. We got one more topic to discuss. We're either going to give our bold predictions or we're going to give our fantasy favorites for this game. You let us know which one you want to talk about. Jeff, which one you want to talk about since you're on the phone with us?
Bold predictions.
All right. I'll see if anybody else puts anything in the comments. If not, we'll go with what the caller wants. All right. Well, Kerry came in right behind you with bold predictions. So now we will do our bold predictions.
Bold predictions.
All right. So this is going to be an interesting game. And Jeff, since you called for it, let's get your bold prediction. And guys, everybody call for bold predictions in the comments. Let's get your bold predictions up so we can put them on the screen. I think somebody put one up earlier. I forgot who it was. I think it was Brian that put one up really early in the comments. But Jeff, go ahead with yours while I try to find that.
Okay, my bold prediction is going to counter what my score. No, it'll fall in line with my score. But I did predict Zeke was gonna get 100 yards and a touchdown. So my bold prediction is gonna be Dak is gonna account for 5 touchdowns in this game.
Wow.
Ooh, I'd love to see
Four
that.
through the air and 1 on the ground.
Okay.
Bold prediction.
That was a bold prediction. Jesse Murphy says he thinks J. Lou gets a sack. That would be a great way for him to come back in the game and make his presence felt.
Yeah, for sure.
A bunch of you guys put bold predictions in the comments, but I don't see any, so let's get them in there. Lambo, you got one?
I'm thinking one up right now.
I think Cole put one in early. I gotta find it. It's not Brian. What
Hey,
was it?
Lambo, I got a bold prediction for you.
I already know where this going. Go ahead, Jeff.
Blake Bell catch a touchdown.
Oh, I thought you were going to
It's so crazy you said that because that's what I was thinking in the back of my mind. Like that's what I was contemplating whether I was going to say that or not. Like that's what I had in store, and I was trying to think up something else instead. But
Yeah.
it's crazy you said that.
I see Cole put 5 sacks this week. Brian came back with a bold one. Carr gets a sack and an INT. If he does that, Darian Thompson can just go ahead and pack his bags if that happens. And then Andre comes up with Hill gets a sack and Diggs gets an INT. I think if there's any week that Diggs gets an INT, I think it'll be this one. For sure. Lambo, did you give yours yet? Oh, go ahead.
My bold prediction is going to be pretty bold because I got 3 things happening that are less likely to happen.
Okay.
But so I'm gonna say I am gonna say what the other thing I was thinking. Blake Bell scores a touchdown.
Okay.
Tristan Hill gets a sack, and Trayvon Diggs gets a pick 6 on Julio. He's gonna undercut Julio on a slant route. He's gonna jump it. And it's gonna pay off. All 3 of those are gonna happen, and we're gonna be like, "What just happened?" And it's gonna be great.
I like that, Lambo. That's bold.
My bold prediction is Francis Bernard gets on the field and he gets a pick.
Man, I hope. I thought about Bernard, but I don't even know if they're gonna activate him.
I think they will by Saturday. I think they will. I think this is the week.
I hope so.
That kid is special in coverage. And I feel like the way he moves, he's going to undercut a route at some point or get deeper than the quarterback expects. And he's going to make a play. So I'm expecting if he's activated, he gets a pick. If not, I would say my bold prediction would be that Xavier Woods gets a pick. He was quiet last week. I think he makes up for it. He's gonna get tested a lot because they throw it deep a lot. They throw it deep often. So he's gonna have the opportunity to get that pick. Let's just see if he can get it or not. And Cowboys 2068. He says CD returns a kick for a touchdown. Looking at the way he did on that one return last week, if they don't play good coverage, I can see that one happening. Because that one return was really impressive, considering it was the very first time he ever returned the ball.
Oh, 50 yards. Like a 50-yard run or 50 yards total yards? Yeah, 50-yard run, that would be – that's tough to pull off.
The way our team was afraid to let him run, 50 yards total would be a bold prediction.
Yeah, 50 yards total. I would love to see Dak run for 50 yards, honestly. I feel like that's when we really start to threaten defenses, when they have to fear that he's going to leave the pocket.
I would too.
Okay.
Primarily because I got him in fantasy. I would love to see them 5 points.
You know what? Let me ask one more question before we go. And Jeff, we'll let you answer first, then we'll let you get off so we can close this thing out. And Rosie says total yards, not just the one long run. I've been kind of thinking about this one a lot. We just lost our tight end. Atlanta's kind of weak in the secondary. Do we run more 20 personnel with 2 running backs, or do we run some 10 personnel with 4 wide receivers this week? Do we finally see it?
I
Jeff, we'll go to you first. Do we see Pollard or Cedric Wilson more this week?
I'm gonna say Pollard more.
So you think we're gonna do more like 20 with 2 running backs, no tight end, and let Pollard run out the backfield?
Yes, I believe this game, in addition, I really think this is going to be an offensive explosion game, and it could be a lot of back and forth. So I think this is going to be a game where we really showcase Pollard's talents as far as running ball, spelling Zeke, catching out the backfield, motioning them out the backfield. I think it's going to be a game where we really, show some talent because McCarthy is not going to admit this. He's embarrassed about that game last week.
And he should be.
So he should be. And so I think that first home game, he's going to come out and try to prove a point. And he's going to, I believe he's going to have a little bit more hands into the offense this week than he did last week. And I think he's going to try to make up for last week because I think he's embarrassed by it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, didn't Pollard average 6 yards a carry Sunday?
He did. He did.
Okay. Just making sure.
I believe it's going to be utilized our offensive weapons. I believe it's going to be an offensive display, and that's why I said that's what goes along with my bold prediction with that. I believe we're going to spread it all the way around. We might not even need Zeke to go for 100 yards this game.
Yeah, everybody's agreeing with you with Pollard too, Josh. I'll go Limbaugh and make you go before me all night. I think we run more 2 running back as well. I just feel like Pollard's a mismatch. Zeke is a mismatch. He proved it this past week, catching the ball out of the backfield. I feel like we're going to see a lot of chipping the ends on the way to your route.
Yeah.
This will be a good week to do that because Atlanta's not a big blitzing team either. They really have a play it straight up scheme offensively and defensively. So I feel like this game should work in our favor as a good matchup for us.
Yeah, I'm sold.
What about this wrinkle, guys? So we've always talked about the 3 receiver, 2 back set. What about motioning both running backs out of the backfield into the slot to create a 5 receiver set?
I got to see how the line's going to block that before we do something like that.
That would be my worry is the line.
Okay.
But
line in general or the boy at right tackle?
From what I saw last week, the line in general.
Yeah, no, right. Even Zach Martin was very average.
Yeah.
I think Zach Martin, if I'm remembering right, finished like 33rd rated out of like 60-something guards, which is not like Zach Martin. I
thought about.
Yeah. I saw a couple teams do that this past week too. I know Green Bay does it all the time. Yeah. So Brian asked a good question about who does the coverage depict us using more, Pollard or Wilson? Just like I just said about Jeff and his 5 wide theory, until I see the offensive line blocking, we almost have to keep as many guys in the backfield as possible to be potential blockers. So because of that, I think no matter what the coverage looks like, the offensive line dictates we need to have guys back there who can chip or who can run somebody off. And when you do 4 wide, that kind of spreads things out, and you putting your linemen more one-on-one than I would like until they prove otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not too confident putting a line one-on-one like that. Initially, I was thinking, I feel like they would want to keep it tight end to help out the undrafted dude still. But it does make more sense to run the 2 running back set. Because Pollard being as explosive as he is and Zeke being the playmaker he is, and it does make more sense. I could see them drawing up some plans to get the ball out quicker this week and really using a lot of underneath routes.
Right.
I think even though he's the rookie and he's not the number 1 guy, I think CeeDee Lamb could see a ton of targets this week and a lot of underneath work, and I think they could use the Zeke and Pollard a ton in the pass game this week. And this, instead of, putting someone, on the line next to Steele, maybe they'll just get rid of the ball quicker, get it in playmakers' hands in space, and just play it that way. Just don't give them a chance to get the ball out.
And let me say this too before we go off. The other beauty about letting a running back run a route, sometimes they don't even have to chip, because if your running backs are killing out of the backfield, the coaches will tell their defensive end, if you see that running back come your way, you grab him to make sure he can't run his route. And in a sense, that's him blocking that end, because the end is now trying to stop him from running routes instead of pass rushing. So it could work to our favor in something like that. They can't grab tight ends that way. Tight ends have to block. But with running back, they can still run a route as well.
Yeah.
Brian, last question. Hey, Jeff, we're gonna let you go because we're about to close this thing out.
Okay.
But I appreciate you calling, man.
Oh, no problem. I enjoyed the show.
All right, thanks.
Hey, thanks for calling, Jeff.
Okay, last question of the night. Brian asked, do we see McGovern at left guard?
I
McGovern.
don't think.
Go ahead, Lambo.
Well, like it kind of ties back to what we talked about earlier. That's what we wanted to see. At least I wanted to see. I thought he was a guy that had potential and that could win the left guard job entering the season, which didn't happen. And then I thought, when Lau Collins was going to be out these first 3 weeks, okay, Connor Williams plays some tackle in college. Maybe we move him to right tackle and Connor McGovern gets the left guard spot.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did that not happen, like we talked about earlier, he was not even active as a backup last week. That tells me we're not going to see him at left guard anytime soon.
Either he hasn't recovered from that injury, or Tyler Biadasz just looks that good, and maybe they're trying to find a way to work him on the field. If not at center, maybe at guard. So that's something to keep an eye on, because when I saw McGovern was inactive and you said that, I was really surprised.
I thought it was a mistake on
Yeah. But you saw that one play, Connor Williams, his shoe came off and he went to the sideline. Biadasz did come in and play guard that play. So he's definitely the next man up.
Yeah.
Even overnight. Because Knight was active. And that was before Cam Irvin got hurt. So Connor Williams goes out and Biadasz was the first one to trot on the field. So that's a good sign going forward for us. If we don't see what we like from Connor, maybe that means Biadasz may be a little bit more ready than we think he is.
Yeah, I agree. And because I'll probably change my mind before Sunday and I'll have another fantasy guy, I'm just going to throw you my fantasy guy real quick. It's on my mind. Benny Snell Jr. I tried to get him in most leagues and couldn't get him quick enough. I was too far back on waivers. Benny Snell Jr., he rushed for over 100 yards this week when Connor went down with his ankle injury. He looked way better than Connor. I liked him at Kentucky ever since, when the Gators would play him. I liked him before he even entered the draft. I thought he was going to be a good running back, but he looked great. And I think he had like a $117 or $116 on 19 carries. Mm-hmm. He's playing Denver this week, who just allowed 131 yards to Derrick Henry.
Great.
And so I could see Connor didn't practice today. It's likely that he might not play. If he does, it'll be extremely limited. I think Snell is a good pickup this week for fantasy.
Yeah. Quick story. The way I do my fantasy strategy, if I have a guy on my bench who doesn't perform, I always cut him and I pick up a guy who's playing in a late game or a Monday night game in the hopes of maybe somebody gets hurt and I'm kind of getting a leg up on the waivers.
I do that sometimes too.
In all 5 of my leagues, I picked up Benny Snell on Sunday night.
Yeah, you picked him up in our league, I wanted to get him, and I was like,
you got to be a day early with me, Lambo.
Yeah,
I did it in every league. Every league, I dropped the guy on my bench and picked him up on Sunday, and then Monday he produced for me, and now I got the number one guy without having to use a waiver. So that's a fantasy tip for you guys.
Yeah,
people hate me for it, but it always pays off. All right, before we go, again, you guys were on fire tonight. Like, you guys really led the show. We went almost 2 hours. It doesn't even feel like it.
We thought we was going to do 1 hour, so that tells how much interaction we had.
Hopefully we keep this momentum and we keep this thing going like this going forward. You guys were amazing. Keep calling in. Keep giving us the comments. Also, make sure you subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. Also, make sure you follow us on all social medias as well as our Cowboy Zone page. And before we kick this thing off, Lambo, go ahead and tell the people where they can find you at.
You guys hit me up on Facebook at Cowboys Y'all, Instagram at Cowboys Y'all 88, Twitter at Cowboys Y'all, YouTube at Cowboys Y'all, and Patreon at Cowboys Y'all. Cash App is also Cowboys Y'all, by the way.
All right. And you can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Bluff City Cowboys. On Twitter, it's Bluff Cowboys. And on YouTube, it's still a bunch of letters and numbers. Guys, help me get to 100 subscribers so I can change my YouTube URL. I'm at 60, so we're only 40 away. I saw about 5 or 6 new people on the show. So hopefully you guys will go on YouTube, find me Bluff City Cowboys, and make sure you subscribe. All right. We're getting a lot of good feedback in the comments, Lambo. So I'm looking forward to seeing next week and this Sunday. We're going to try to bring you guys a pregame show for about 30 minutes or so this week. So make sure you be on the lookout for that. On top of that, same time, same channel, next Wednesday, 8:30. That's it for the Cowboy Zone. You guys have a good week.
See y'all later, man.